This is Snakeybus. So in the menu here, we have a couple different options. We're gonna rock the party bus, but there's also like the cluster truck, which you might be familiar with. So you kind of unlock different buses and different places that you can play as you progress in gaining score and points over time. There are even like endless ones, and it's kind of interesting what options are available when it comes to the map. So there's actually a really good selection. We're gonna play Paris. And there's a couple different modes you can play as well. And then you can also see scores and how everybody's doing. And you can see my total score in the top right. So this is Snakeybus. And I'm not sure if it's enhanced. It does look fairly good visually. It's alright. And past that, I have noticed that there is definitely pop-in, especially present when you get to the later stages of building up your Snakeybus. So as you're playing, the goal is to hit all of these different stops, collect passengers, and then hit a special checkpoint in order to cash those passengers in. So it's a fairly simple concept, but it does get a little bit more intense as you progress and you keep going. So it's a play on the game of Snake. So in Snake, you're trying not to cross over your own path. In this one, you kind of can, but you need to be careful because you only have so much of a jump meter and everything like that. And it basically becomes more and more chaotic as you start crossing over your own bus route. And as you saw in the opening menu area, there are a number of different bus designs and everything like that, and it's quite interesting. So you can also adjust the speed and kind of handle your bus like that. It's actually a very interesting sort of experience, and one that is strangely fun and strategic to play. It's really, really simple, but I have actually played quite a bit out of this. I'm very surprised. They have very neat, interesting, and different looking worlds that you can play on. Everywhere from like regular kind of iconic locations like we're doing here to more sleek, futuristic, weird ones. We're going to show off a little bit of variation depending on how long we go along here. But I really do want to showcase what it's like when it becomes more and more chaotic and you get more and more kind of like, basically passenger areas of your bus going. So you're creating this really long, crazy ass looking train. It is kind of cool, and I don't know why I find it so enjoyable, because it is something that is really simple, but there's something majestic about seeing the train kind of jump over there. It's really quite different and interesting, and I think that aspect is going to make it one of those kind of silly games that people really like. They seem to hit on that particular sort of market quite well, and I can see this one fitting into that niche beautifully, because it actually is a very interesting concept. It's so weird. Like, you wouldn't ever expect this to be something that would exist. Not in my wildest dreams could I come up with the idea of doing trains like this. Oh, it looks like we died and we're gonna have to switch over to another map to show that off. But yeah, it's such a weird concept. You can also submit your score, and you can go to a fly cam so that you could see kind of the track of how your bus was going. And that's one aspect I kind of bothers me a bit, is the pop-ins. You're seeing the bus kind of load as you're going along, and I think that kind of ruins an element of seeing the bus in action. But look how far back our bus has been trained. It's crazy. It really is crazy, but it's such a simple game, and they do such neat elements with it. Okay, so we're back for a slightly different map. So this kind of shows off some of the crazier elements of play. I find these ones a lot harder because obviously there's big holes in the map and stuff like that. So you're just generally trying to make sure that your bus doesn't stop moving or knock off the map like that, because that's how you kind of fail. But they do really play around with the concept and have some truly weird maps and layouts that I don't think you'd necessarily expect for this kind of game. I mean, why would you even expect this kind of game to exist? I think that's the kind of the beauty of this one, is it's so weird and messed up, and I think that's going to be maybe an aspect that makes it enticing for people to check out. I mean, it's kind of cool. I've definitely gotten a fair bit of time out of it, so I mean, that's kind of an interesting aspect. Great, so we're on the suburban map. I think this is my second favorite one, but it kind of shows off a little bit of a play on things, because they kind of have some maps which look a bit more realistic, and then some that have like way more of a cartoon aesthetic to it. There's a really good variety of maps, and I like that you sort of easily level through them to unlock new content. You always feel like you're getting something new when you're playing it. You know, accessing new things, being able to check out new areas. And I think that's really cool, and it kind of keeps the gameplay varied. And you get a lot of replay value out of playing these maps, trying to figure out, you know, the right ways to do things, the right ways to handle your bus, the right way to get the snake going. And I think that kind of aspect is really neat. And there isn't another game out there like this. At least I don't think so, because this one is straight up the most bizarre thing ever. I saw it, honestly, first time as like a weird trailer thing on the Nintendo Switch, and I was just like, what is this game? I gotta check it out. It's so funky, and I think that's going to be a big thing for this one, as people are going to be generally intrigued by the, you know, the aesthetic, the design of it, the weird concept that it has. And I think if you do find this to be an interesting game, you'll have fun playing it for a bit. Now, I do wonder about the long-term play of this, because I feel like I myself would get, well, I have been getting a bit bored of it, but I know some people will be able to sit there and just kind of replay it over and over and over again, trying to find, you know, new routes, new designs, kind of keeping and seeing how far they can get their crazy bus going, right? I mean, you got to deal with all the loops, and you don't want to fail, and then trying to get the high score. I think that aspect adds something of value to it. I like the elements of destruction too, as you're plotting your little bus movement, and just how you can kind of interact with the worlds that are created, and how you can handle some of the more tricky ones. I think they have a lot of fun with the concept of this, and I think if they continue to grow it a bit more too afterwards, I think this is going to be something that people really remember as being a distinct and possibly way over the top silly sort of game. And these ones kind of stand out as being silly party type things that you would share with someone and be like, look at this funky thing, because it's not hard to play, which is kind of good, because anyone could check this out and jump in here. You're just kind of moving the stick along, but it takes a little bit more skill to like actually be, you know, successful at making sure your bus doesn't stop, and that you're able to continue growing the bus as you're playing, you know, hitting new lengths, hitting new heights, instead of getting stopped, because that's what's going to wreck your progress. Oh, you know, speeding along, dealing with things, because this is getting wild. And I think it really is cool, especially with the different types of buses you get. You know, you feel like you're getting a sense of progression as you're unlocking these buses, unlocking these areas, finding new things, unlocking new modes to play. Uh-oh. No! But you see, like, the crazy sort of, like, wild bus thing that's gone on here. You know, isn't that nuts? It, like, fills, like, basically the whole map. And you just gotta be more and more strategic about how you're doing the setup of that and the layout. I think this is a really interesting title. It's definitely something different. And if you find it intriguing, I think this will be a game you could play for a fair bit. Definitely get some laughs out of it, because it is just really silly action and a big explosion for a bus at the end there. It's kind of dark, but yeah, really generally cool concept. I had fun playing this, and I don't think I'll forget this weird snaky game and the weird stuff that goes on within it.